Hey guys, my name is Francisco Hernandez, and today I'm going to be going into very old photo shoots that I did, some of my very first photo shoots that I've done, and just see how bad they are and go over what I did wrong back then and what I would do better now in 2021. I've honestly been putting off this video for a long time now, but I want you guys to see some of my very first photo shoots to see just how bad they were and how much I didn't know what I was doing. And this video might feel very unscripted because it is. Again, I've been overthinking this video for so long, so I just wanted to go ahead and just get the images up on my screen and just talk about them. I want to kind of challenge a lot of different people out there, a lot of different photographers out there that I know that do YouTube. So if you guys do YouTube, if you're watching this, try to make a video like this because I think it just helps break down exactly, the behind the scenes stuff is cool, but we don't see what you did early on, was some of the bad stuff that you did early on. So that's why I wanted to make this video. And again, I challenge anybody out there, Manny Ortiz, Rob Hall, anybody that does YouTube on there, Irene, show some of your bad work because I want to see it. Before I continue, I do want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community filled with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people alike. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity with Skillshare. Skillshare offers classes designed for real life and all of the circumstances that come with it. These lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. There's a lot of different classes on photography, of course, that you can check out all over Skillshare, but there's also different classes on things like marketing or productivity in case you want to market yourself better or just be more productive. One class that I'm currently looking to that I'm really excited about is called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD by Marquez Brownlee, of course. I'm really excited because I'm a huge fan of the guy and have been watching him for years. One thing that I thought that was really interesting about his video is how he scripts his videos, because scripting is such a huge part of making YouTube videos that I honestly need to work better on. So I was really happy with his class. Skillshare was made to learn, so there's never any ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow where your creativity takes you. It's not expensive at all either, at less than $10 a month for an annual subscription. You guys can check out Skillshare using the link in the description area below, because the first 1,000 of you to use that link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. When you guys support the people that support my channel, it allows me to keep making free content for you guys, so definitely check out Skillshare. I'm going to open up Lightroom and show you guys the photos right now in a quick second, but I thought it was important to let you guys know the lighting that I used, which was the Policy Buff Alien Bee lights. I had the 800, another 800, the 400, and even the Alien Bee ring flash at that point. But I didn't know what the heck I was doing back then. I didn't know even my camera settings. So I'm not even sure exactly why I got all that lighting, thinking that it would magically make my photos better, but that's what I ended up doing. And it wasn't until later that I ended up learning how to use my lighting. So yeah, that's the lighting that I used. I also had the Canon 60D with the kit lens, the 18 and 135. But let me go ahead and just show you guys the photos right now and stop stalling. What you're seeing on the screen right now isn't a shoot that I did with lighting, but it is a horrible photo shoot in my opinion. It is involving my nephew at 1 month, but it's just so bad I thought it would just be interesting to show you guys. So let me just go through the images real quick. Here he is. I don't know why he decided to keep these images and trash others. You can see the top left, the settings are not even making sense at all. Those are 3 pictures there. And before I show you the montage that I created with those photos, I think these are the ones that I thought the best. And honestly, one thing that I can actually let you guys know that was wrong about this photo shoot was I thought that, oh, Photoshop can fix anything. So I didn't think about anything being distracting in the background. I thought, oh, I'll just Photoshop it out. I'll just cut him out and make a virtual background or something. So that was my biggest error in this point here, aside from the fact that the settings were completely wrong and I was using a high ISO when I could have used a slower shutter. Yeah, these are very, very, very bad. And you can see, yeah, there's me with my nephew, and here is the montage that I made. I made it in color and in black and white, and both are equally as cringe. Learn your camera settings and definitely use lighting. I don't know why I decided that it would be good enough to use the overhead lighting that was in that room, but I did. It would have been much better to just go outside and just use a diffuser, or just even use no diffuser. These are just really bad, and I thought it was just important to show you guys this shoot. What you're seeing on the screen right now is from the first photo shoot I did using off-camera flash, but this is a quick sample shot that I took for some reason indoors of Ashley. But let me go ahead and show you guys the first shot that I took outdoors, which is this one right here. If I remember correctly, what I was thinking at this point was I just needed some nice greenery around her, and I just took a shot. I'm not pretty sure exactly about what I was thinking about in terms of the ambient. I'm not sure how I decided f5 at ISO 100 at 1/200th of a second, but I do remember back then, depending on like aperture priority or just automatic settings. So I wasn't fully shooting a manual back then, but I actually do really like this image, and I'm pretty sure if I zoom in, I can see that it was the Alien B, I'm pretty sure it's the Alien B ring flash with what they call the moon unit, which is like a softbox that goes around it. And I had it a little bit to the camera left, which you can see from the little bit of shadows right here. I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, I actually do like the ambient levels in this shot. But for some reason, when I took this shot, I don't know why, but I went to a completely different direction in the next shot, which I'm gonna show you guys right now. Here's the next shot that I have in this series. For some reason, I decided to go from f5 to f20. I decided, you know what, let's get rid of all the ambient lighting in this shot and also position it so that I'm facing her head on with this fence instead of at an angle like it was before. Yeah, I'm at f20 now, which is really killing the ambient around her, because especially there's shadow behind her, so that means that there's going to be no strong sunlight back there hitting it, so it's just going to be completely dark. You can actually see on the bottom that there is sunlight hitting the ground, but the majority of that area behind her is just shadows, so it's going to show up really dark at f20. There's also a little bit of light hitting her arm, but the majority of the light that's hitting her is simply off-camera flash. There's honestly no logical reasoning for me to go from f5, where I liked the ambient, to go to f20, where there's very little ambient. So I'm not sure what was going on, but I would tell you guys to always determine how you want that background to look like, and then add flash, and then adjust the flash. Don't think that you can't adjust the flash power, which is, I'm pretty positive. I remember thinking this back then, that I needed to always shoot at full power. So I'm not even sure how I shot at this level here with this amount of flash, because back then I was thinking always shoot full power on your lights and then just adjust the settings around that, which is horrible, mindset to have. Don't ever think like that. The power of the flash and the exposure of the background and different things involving the shot can always be adjusted. Even her pose can be adjusted. She had a good pose here. Not sure why I changed it here. I always have the subject kind of at an angle. It's a little bit more flattering. There's so many things that you can adjust inside your photo. But don't feel like you have to be stuck in a certain setting. Just change the setting, change the pose, do whatever you want. In this next shot, for some reason, I decided to lower the aperture from f20 to f18, and that resulted in a brighter exposure on her. She's very shiny in this picture. I'm pretty positive it was a hot day, so you might not know that it's a bright, hot day because of how I exposed the ambient, but it was very bright that day. I'm actually fine with these pictures. Took some pictures of her jumping. But again, they're not the type of photos I would take today, because in my head, I used way too much depth of field. You can see that this fence is going through her head right there. And I remember realizing that late, people telling me online, and I had to just Photoshop the fence out. That very valid critique was something that got on my nerves back then. I had very thin skin. I have much thicker skin now, thankfully. But again, if you're just starting out, don't be afraid of the feedback, but also make sure that that feedback is coming from somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't just take any feedback out there, especially if the person just created their account, they have no profile picture, and they have no work out there. So take it from a credible source. In this same day, we did another photo shoot, and you can see that I used a 2-light setup. I think this is the dish, the beauty dish. I had a big beauty dish, and I also had this softbox here. So you guys can see some of the pictures I took with that light setup. I actually do have behind the scenes, believe it or not. So you guys can see that right here. I'm pretty sure the position of them changed. You can probably see that in the catch lights of the different pictures. Yeah, these pictures are not the best pictures out there. You can see the nice sunset there, but the pictures of the people that's Ashley's cousin, they're just not that good. And I honestly thought these pictures were nice back then. If you guys don't like these photos, if you don't like this series, let me know, because it's just kind of like a nightmare going back and looking at these photos. Again, I wanted to show you guys how they look like, because I had a learning curve too, of course. And I actually do want to show you guys a speedlight photo shoot that I did back in the day, I think 2012 or 2013. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know in the comment section below. But I'm just gonna go through a couple more photo shoots. Here's another shoot with Ashley, and obviously you can see that it's a bit edited. So let me go ahead and just show you guys the straight out of camera right now. It's a little bit dark. This is pretty much the exposure that I got. I actually do like the exposure. I do like the shot, but I did kind of adjust the levels of the highlights and stuff to get more dynamic range. But honestly, with this shoot here, I do like it, but I got really lucky in that there's not a lot of bright, ugly sun directly kind of facing my camera. There's a lot of nice even exposure, nice clouds to kind of diffuse the bright sky. And I got lucky with a nice blue sky too. You guys can see the behind the scenes right there. I used a beauty dish. If I could go back in time, then I would probably use a softer light source, and probably would also use something kind of separator from the background, so a secondary light. But again, these lights weren't wireless, so I would have to probably use the cord, and then the cord show up in the shot. But let me show you guys some more of these photos. And I even took a shot with her jumping. Yeah, we actually got approached by a border patrol agent, and he was wondering what we were doing because we were close to the border, but we didn't pass the border or anything, but we were very close. So we kind of got in trouble, but he just told us to leave and we'd be fine. So we did that. Here is going to be the first paid shoot that I did with off-camera flash. Here's the first that I took with Ashley. She was always the person that I used to practice lighting on, and she would always assist me, of course. And actually, the couple that's going to be in the shots that you're going to see right now is, here's a behind the scenes. But the couple that we shot with is actually her cousin. So this is her cousin. I'm at f32 for some reason, ISO 100 at 1/160th of a second. I'm not sure exactly why I chose those settings, but again, I'm pretty sure I was on maybe some aperture priority mode and just changed the aperture till I got a shot that was exposed fine. Back then, if I were to do this again, I would shoot at whatever my max shutter speed was with my max sync speed, which is the max shutter speed that you can use with flash, which would be 1/250th of a second, and then just adjust my aperture, maybe even use ND filters if I can go back then. Here's some of the shots that I took of her cousin and with her fiance. I think it's engagement photos. I think what I was thinking back then is, okay, there's things going on in the background that are gonna have to show up, because I didn't know that the aperture kind of determined how much depth of field was showing up. So I thought that I had to get everything in focus. Because of that, I was kind of just thinking more about what was gonna show up in the back. Even in this shot here, you can see that there's something going on right there. There's like a pole, and I thought that that was, something that was in the way. So I kind of shifted a little bit so that it wasn't in the shot. And I think everything else in the background was things that I thought, okay, they're in the shot, but they're not as distracting as that other pole in the background. Here's a lot of, you can see the truck all the way in the back there. And yeah, I mean, these photos aren't super bad, but knowing that I could have done a lot better is just kind of the part that just tears at me. And yeah, here are some of those shots. And I think I'm gonna just show you guys one more shoot and I'll be done with it. Again, Ashley did used to always just pose for me. I'd practice on her, and we chose this abandoned graffiti location because I was gonna have a shoot the very next day. So I just practiced on her a little bit, and I used the diffuser here instead of using flash. This shot right here is not with off-camera flash, but these ones inside are. And I was just throwing light everywhere and thinking I just needed to adjust the shutter. I had no kind of idea of I can just adjust the ambient light around her using my settings. And I thought I just had to shoot at full power for some reason. Let me go ahead and just show you guys the photo shoot that resulted from those photos. This shot right here obviously is not the best, but I do like the fact that it has a nice shallow depth of field going on in the background because I was so close to her and there was a good amount of distance between the background and her. Here, I'm not even sure why I decided to go from 52 millimeters to 18 millimeters, which is not really flattering. Again, I'm just gonna show you guys these images to see how bad they are. And I actually do like this image, so it's not too bad. Then we went back inside that abandoned location, and I just threw light and I just adjusted my settings. That's why I'm at 1/250th, f20, ISO 100. And yeah, I'm just gonna go cycle through them and you guys can pause the video if you guys want to see them a little bit longer. But I'm not a fan of how these images look like. They just look so bad. I'm pretty sure I'm using the ring flash here and shooting through it because what I'm noticing in this shot is that the lighting is so even. So that's why I'm pretty sure I'm using the ring flash here. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm going to be repeating that throughout this video. You can see that there's some pictures where she decides to move a little bit. Where is it? Right here. She laughs and I'm at 1/130th of a second, f8, ISO 100. She's blurry. Her hands are blurry. I don't know what I was doing, and it's just horrible. If I could go back in time and take this shoot again, then I would just adjust that shutter. And this is natural light here, so I'm not really limited by my shutter in terms of, you know, 1/250. I can go higher and shoot at whatever the widest aperture was available at that focal length, which is 45 millimeters. Or I could have used my 51.8, which I did have back then. So yeah, here's this spot here that I thought these pictures were amazing when I took them. They're okay. But yeah, I thought these photos were the bee's knees back then. One more shoot and then I'll be done. I do have a lot of more examples to show you guys, but this video is probably too long, so I want to end it with a good note, with a good photo shoot that I did back in the day. Here's behind the scenes of a shot that I took of my friend Ricky. He actually looks pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. But let me show you one more bad example. This was such a bad shoot. I forgot my stand and I had to have the light on the floor, so that's why there's a bit of uplighting here. And the editing's bad too. I thought it was really interesting. I thought I was really cool with, you know, making the clarity so high and different things. So this is how I edited the shot, but this is how it looks like straight out of camera. Very bad. But the whole shoot wasn't bad, but I could have done much better. Here's the photo shoot that I really liked back in the day. It's of my nephew. He's only a couple months old. I'm gonna guess maybe like, oh, he's almost a year old. So this was probably for his first year. He was into Spider-Man, so we had it themed like that. And I was really, really happy with how I determined the background exposure, because it kind of made it very natural looking with the off-camera flash that I used. Again, I'm not sure if it was just luck or what, but there was no consistency is kind of the main point that I want to make throughout this video when I show you guys the photos. At some points I got lucky, and in some points I just didn't know what I was doing. I just adjusted the settings and just crossed my fingers. So if I could tell you guys one thing, it's just to know your camera and to know your ambient exposure settings before you even get flash. For me personally, I just jumped right into off-camera flash. I got a whole studio setup, 4-light setup, and thought that this was going to make my photos amazing. And I didn't even learn my settings. I didn't even start with speed lights. I just went into off-camera flash studio setups. Yeah, it's as simple as kind of learning the basics first and then kind of just going up from there. For me, I got the whole studio setup, then I learned my settings, and then I got into speed lights. So very horrible way to learn, you know, avoid what I did and just learn slowly and then build up from there. I'm really happy with these photos, but I have an edited version of this shot I'm gonna throw up on the screen right now, so you guys can see how that looks like. I was actually very proficient, I think that's the word, or I was good at using Photoshop back in the day. I actually learned Photoshop before I learned photography, so that did help me in terms of saving some shots that I thought were unsalvageable back then. But again, yeah, learn your camera, learn your off-camera flash, and that will let you not use or not rely on editing so much. But yeah, that's the end of this video. It could be so much longer and show you guys so much more photos that I did that were horrible. Before I even started with off-camera flash, I have way more horrible examples to show you guys from when I shot with my Nikon D60. That's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys give it a like and comment, and also subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in the very next video. Take care.